Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show for August 20th, 2026. Thank you so much for joining me after the roundtable replay. Hope everybody enjoyed that. It's nice to hear everybody laughing and having fun, and I'm just left out. No, I'm just kidding. I know people are like, why? It's so mean that they're not putting you as a part of the roundtable. No, it's okay. I have other things I have to do on Thursday mornings, but they do a great job, and I get a ton of stuff to talk about whenever I am able to listen to the roundtable before the Skraby Show on Thursdays, because they talked about a whole lot, and I cannot stop thinking about, and I think a lot of fans out there are the same. I cannot stop thinking about Fernando's night on Tuesday night. Just the catch, the 2 home runs, just everything about his night on Tuesday was fun, and I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot more of that here in the next 34 games or so, because that's how many games the Padres have left in the regular season. They have 34 games. They are currently in the final wild card spot above the Diamondbacks, who aren't playing today. The Cardinals, the Diamondbacks are 1 game back of a wild card spot. The Cardinals are 2.5 games back, and the Marlins are 4 games back of a wild card spot. And I'm not comfortable at all with where the Padres are. I'm not comfortable with the 3rd wild card spot. I'm just not. And I don't think that anybody can actually feel comfortable in that 3rd spot just because of the tiebreakers that have to go their way. Also, they're going to be, the one thing I can say that's good is that they're going to be playing the Diamondbacks the final 3 games of the year. And it looks like the Padres and the Diamondbacks are going to be fighting for that last wild card spot. I almost said hopefully the Ketel Marte gone missing is going to hurt them, but I don't really want to say that. I don't really, because I have no idea what the situation is, but they are down Ketel Marte right now, and that's a big deal. He's one of their best players. So maybe that will hurt the Diamondbacks down the stretch, but I really need to see the Padres get to that number 2 spot. I don't want to mess with a tiebreaker at the end of the season. And I said this before. I mean, this is all the Padres' fault. They lost all 6 games to the Phillies. And so the Phillies easily hold that tiebreaker. The Cardinals hold the tiebreaker over the Padres as well, but they're a little bit further down. They get hot. You're looking at them, and you're really having to jump a bunch of different teams because of your own doing. And the only way to take care of this, and the only way to make sure that this doesn't happen to you, you don't miss out on a playoff spot because of a tiebreaker, just keep winning. And as you heard on the roundtable, you just got to win today. Win today and win tomorrow and take it day by day. It's a very simple mindset, but it's a very difficult mindset for me and other humans to take it day by day. But that's exactly how you got to do it. And we talked about yesterday about the Mets and how they weren't playing, or their record might be worse than how they're playing right now. It's just about where you catch teams in the schedule and things like that. So the Padres, all they need to do is control their own destiny and win a bunch of games. Again, I don't think they're going to go 34-0. It's just probably not going to happen. Most likely not going to happen. But if they put together a stretch like they have had here since, I can't even say the All-Star break, since they started playing the Marlins in Miami, that 3rd series out of the All-Star break on the road. That is when they turned it around, and that is the Padres baseball that we have been waiting for all season long. Now, on the other side, one of the things you can't do, and I can't get over this. I cannot get over the fact that Robert Stock looked so great against the Padres. And now I didn't realize this, and so I'm glad I heard on the roundtable a little bit that Robert Stock may have been pitching off of the rubber. And so that was a deal. And Tony seems to think that he was getting an advantage by coming from a certain angle. So I guess I'm willing to buy that, but you still somehow, some way got to break through against Robert Stock. You just got to. And when you get walked as many times as they did yesterday, you have to break through. 2 for 12 and runners in scoring position yesterday. It's not going to get you into the playoffs. It's just not. And I think everybody already knows that. I think everybody knows that the Padres have a very fine line to walk here going into the final month or so, 5 weeks of the season. But I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for the rest of the season. I was thinking about this on the drive down today. This is one of my favorite times of the sports year because you have baseball heating up into the playoff races. We're almost to September. We almost got 1 month to go. You got the NFL starting, and you got the preseason games on. You got Monday Night Football on right now. Things in the sports world are good, at least in my eyes. But if you're wondering about the NFL game that's on right now, the Monday Night, there's a couple actually, but Monday Night Football is airing Raiders and Texans, and Fernando Mendoza started the game for the Raiders. He has not done great today, which is expected from a guy who's starting or playing in his second NFL game ever. Yes, it's a preseason game, but he threw a pick six. He's 5 for 8 for 50 yards, but the pick six went 80 yards. And I'll give him credit. That Fernando Mendoza tried to chase down the Texans defender and gave it a good go. And I always really find it hilarious and fun to watch when a non-athletic quarterback is chasing down a defender who's clearly way faster than them. It's just funny, but good for him for going after him. Cause I don't know if this was Chris, he might be like, oh, well, that was good hustle. Fernando Mendoza would be a good hustler on the Padres. I don't know why I went into that voice at all, but let's look at the Twins. The Twins were a team that were not picked to do much of anything this year. And they are currently under 500. They're 63 and 65. They have won 3 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're actually second in their division. So this is how bad the AL teams are right now. And so they're coming in, though, and they're not a team that you can look past. In the last 15 days, Josh Bell has hit 3 home runs. He's got 13 RBIs. Hitting 367 with an OPS of 1.038. You have Brooks Lee has 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 277. Cody Clemens has 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Luke Keeshaw's hitting 340, 928 OPS, 1 homer, 3 RBIs. So you got some guys that are hot, and and I know that the Padres aren't doing this. I know that the Padres aren't looking past the Twins, but I'm going to go into basically every series the rest of the season and be a little nervous about it just because I'm not sure. Like, I'm a little concerned about the offense here in the last 4 or 5 games where it's one good game, one bad game, one good game, one bad game. So I'm not ready to say that. I'm not ready to go back to which Padres team are we going to get today, because for the most part, they've been pretty good, but it does concern me that the offense is having these moments where they cannot score and they cannot hit with runners in scoring position. And I'm just really hoping that was maybe a last 4 games thing, but you can't, I can't go and say that they're not, I can't say that they're not the team that we've seen the past like 18, 20 games, because they kind of are, but the whole thing with Robert Stock, I can't get over it. And I'm going to get over it. I'm going to go to bed tonight and I'm going to get over it. But these games, and I cannot stop thinking about it. And I know I'm making a big deal about 2 games throughout an entire baseball season, but I think these games are games that if you miss the playoffs, you're going to look back and you're going to think, man, we should have either swept the Mets or we should have taken 2 out of 3. These are games for the rest of the season that you have to take advantage of. You just cannot lose these series. You just can't. And when you have 3 guys get thrown out the plate in the first 2 innings on Monday night, going into Tuesday, you're feeling good. Then Tuesday, you're feeling good because they were right there and they had opportunities. And then Tuesday, you're feeling really good after the game because they won and Fernando had the game that he did. And then you get Robert Stock and you're thinking, okay, this is great. And then I think they only scored 2 runs yesterday. For the most part, they didn't get anything off of their pitchers. So I don't want to be the guy at the end of the year, and I'm hoping I'm not, that is saying, man, well, one of those 2 games that they lost to the Mets, they needed to win. I'll get over it, though. I promise I will get over it when I go home and go to bed tonight. I'll lay my little head down on the bed, and I'll say, it's time to get over the fact that Robert Stock beat your team. It's time to get over it. If you want to watch the show, you can go to Facebook 97.3 The Fan. You can go to YouTube 97.3 The Fan. Also, the Skraby Show at the Skraby Show on YouTube. SKRAB as in boy Y. I appreciate if you subscribe there as well. And then you got X at Matt Skraby, and you have at 97.3 The Fan SD. I have been really trying to. I've been trying to do a bunch of different things outside of work, like learning how to do certain coding projects and things like that. So I started a website like 2 years ago, and then I just never did anything with it. It's Skrabinator.com. And I've started putting some more stuff into it. I've started putting a little bit of effort into it. So if you want to go check out Skrabinator.com, that would be great. I just want people to see the template that I filled out for WordPress. That's the thing, is like a lot of coding these days is more of like templates, but I really want to get into making custom things. So Skrabinator.com, SKRAB as in boy Y, or I'm sorry, that was my last name. Skrabinator, SKRABINATOR.com. Here's one of the cool things that I think I'm going to like about the Padres' new owners. Now, obviously, I have not been someone, or I have not met them. I have not talked to them. No one that I talked to has met them or talked to them. But everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm seeing about them in the past, and ways that they have owned sports teams in the past, and just things that they have done for the communities that they've been in. And I think that they're going to be really good people for San Diego. I hope so. I hope that I'm going out on a limb right now saying that they're going to be good people just by what I've been reading and seeing and hearing. I'm really hoping that are the people that we get. And this story that came out today is something that I think it shocked me. And it shocked me because and this isn't necessarily the new owners doing this, but I feel like this is the type of ownership group we're going to get. And I gotta say, I am a huge fan of the Seidler family, because they are rewarding their staff by paying out bonuses to both full-time and part-time employees. The gesture comes right as they're finishing this massive sale up, so they got a little bit of money. But the way that the Seidler family has handled this down the stretch, I think can make you feel good about the transfer, quote unquote, transfer of power. I think that Sheila Seidler came out and said that she thinks that these people are what Peter would have wanted if he were to be choosing new owners. So if that's the sign off, then I can take that. And, the Seidler family is showing a lot of class by doing this bonus and paying out bonuses to both full-time and part-time Padres employees. I'm not sure how much it's going to be or anything like that. I know I don't get any of it, and I shouldn't, because I'm not a full or part-time Padres employee, but just the transfer of power has been, knock on wood, smooth. There's been no drama. There's really just been a pretty easy, and I say all this now, pretty easy transition. And that's all we could have asked for. We did not want this to become some sort of side story for the season. We didn't want anything to become like asking players about it, things like that. And it hasn't become that. And I really wasn't sure in the beginning when things all started, when I believe it was Sheil who filed a lawsuit against the team. But I really thought it was going to get ugly back then, just because of, some of the accusations being made and some of the mudslinging back and forth. I didn't think that we were going to be in a place where we're talking about, this awesome new future for the Padres. I thought it was going to be dark and gloomy and all of that, and it wasn't, and it hasn't been at all. So I I appreciate everyone involved for doing that. Now, again, they're all making lots of money, so that's fine. I mean, that's they are the owners of the trust. And so you could say, oh, well, they got a lot of money, so that's why they can do this. No, they don't have to do this. We don't see this often. So I'm going to applaud the Seidler family for giving some bonuses on their way out. Joseph asked about the Bus family. You could have a situation like that here in San Diego, or you could have had a situation like that where you have no idea what's going on with your team. Your owner's in trouble with the feds. He's being investigated. He's selling the Lakers. He's trying to sell his shares of Chelsea. Now they're saying that he is going to possibly sell some of the Dodgers. I talked about the story last night, and I got one part of it wrong, and I beat myself up over it. But Mark Walter, I said last night, Mark Walter went to Charter Communications, which I believe became Spectrum. But he went to them and he told them, I said last night that he told them if they pay him up front, they can keep their contracts. That was incorrect. He wanted a lump sum to let them out of their contracts, like completely. So what the experts are saying, because I am not a finance expert, what the experts are saying is that he needed cash so bad that he had to do this. He had to. And that's the type of thing that I'm just so happy that the Padres didn't have to go through here in San Diego. All of us, we're all good. We didn't even really think about this until times where it was like, hey, whatever happened with that sale thing? Everything seems to be good. And I'm looking forward to the future with these new owners. And it just sounds like they're gonna compete. They want to compete. They want to bring a World Series to San Diego. All the things that we needed from new owners, we are seemingly getting as of right now. Now, we'll see what happens as we go forward. I reserve the right to change my opinion, but I'm going to be excited about this. And I'm going to be grateful that we did not have a bunch of Skraby shows talking about legal proceedings over the ownership of the Padres, because the Lakers right now, you have the Bus family. Jeannie Bus doesn't want to give up the team. The other siblings are giving up the team, and there's a big fight there. So it's ugly. Money causes really bad problems for everyone, it seems like. All right, when we get back, Kevin Acee dropped something in his newsletter today that I thought was pretty interesting. If you would have asked me this question 3 months ago, I would have said no, but now I'm going to say yes. So we'll talk about Ethan Salas when we get back here on 97.3 The Fan. Matt Skraby back here in the Bill House Studios where we know how. And you know this song. Everybody's got to know this song. The Killers. I'll tell you something about this song when it came out. You know, I should look when this came out because it would tell me exactly where I was in life. But I'm going to tell you why I hated this song for a very, very long time. September 29th, 2003. So I was already graduated high school. I was in my first semester of college. Wow, that was a long time ago. But this song came out then. I had a girlfriend, my first girlfriend ever. And I thought, you know, first love, all that stuff. I thought we were going to get married. Thought how wrong I was about all of that. But that song came out, and I remember when we were breaking up, that song was on in the background. And every time I heard it after that for like years, I would get very sad, but not anymore. So there you go. It's a, you know, I had to learn things the hard way. I don't know if many people are similar in that way, but every lesson that I have learned in my life has been learned the most difficult way possible. And I'm going to shoot myself in the foot like 3 times while I'm doing it. So, yeah, Mr. Brightside, great song. Now I love the song now. That's why it's in the thing. All right, Ethan Salas, and then actually we're going to talk about those football players who are going back to college. We're going to talk about them too, and it's National Radio Day, so I can't forget to tell my radio story at the end of the show because every year on National Radio Day, I do this, and everybody says it's really, it's nice to learn the origin story of Matt Skraby. But Ethan Salas, we've been talking about him for a long time now, and whether or not he's going to, you know, join the team this year, join the team next year, and it seems like, according to Kevin Acey's newsletter, that the Padres are thinking about promoting him in September and getting him some big league experience down the final stretch here in September when they're able to expand the rosters and get more guys on the roster. The thing with this is, my question is, if you're going to bring him up, what is the point? Are you going to give him playing time? Or are you going to just have him get used to what it's like to be in a big league clubhouse? What it's like to, did you just want him to kind of feel what it's like to be at the big league level, get the routine, kind of learn that before you go into the offseason? Or are you bringing him up to play him? And are you bringing him up to have him start over Freddie Fermin or Luis Campusano? And that's another thing. Are you going to carry 3 catchers? So there's more worms in this can. I don't know if that's a saying, than we all really think about. If he is on the 40-man roster. Now this is interesting. I think I heard Braden talking about it earlier, but I was in and out on the conversation. Minor league players are not held to the same rules as the major league players. So if Salas is on the 40-man roster, he will not be able to have contact with the team during the lockout, and he would not be able to get at-bats in AAA if the major league season is postponed or canceled. So I don't know what the answer is here. And the answer will come from what is it that you are trying to get out of this? Are you trying to see if he's a big leaguer? Are you trying to acclimate him to the big leagues? Are you bringing him up to take a job from one of the catchers right now? There's a lot of different things you got to think about. Like the team probably wants to keep contact with Ethan Salas throughout a lockout, and they're not worried about him, getting out of shape or anything like that. They're saying that his work ethic is really one of his best attributes. So that's a great thing at the age of 20 to have your work ethic be one of your best attributes. So I think that there has to be something that you're looking for to bring him up. Don't just bring him up just to bring him up. And I know that's not what they're going to do because they would have to do roster and start his major league service time clock. There's a lot of decision that goes behind this. And I would like to see it. I don't care. I would like to go and see Ethan Salas play at the big league level. I want to see what it's all about. I want to see if he is showing that he can be worth the hype, which I think he's shown throughout his time with the Padres in the minor leagues that he can handle it. I think he can handle the pressure of being in the big leagues. He's been a highly touted prospect baseball player for a long time. So it's not like this is all new to him. All of this attention is new to him. And it seems like he's dealt with it pretty well. It seems like he's got good people around him. So I don't really see this as something where it's going to break his confidence if he comes to the big league level. But throwing a guy who has never played at that level into a playoff race in September is a whole different deal. I got to think that's a ton of pressure, especially when everybody's calling you the next great Padre. Like that's a lot of pressure. And I don't know if you want to start his service clock, or put him on the 40-man roster if he's just going to sit around. So have a purpose is what I'm saying if you're going to bring him up. David says essentially 40-man roster players would have to go overseas and play baseball elsewhere. Minor leagues will go on as normal. That's weird that they would have to go overseas. I don't know if they would they? I wonder how many guys are we going to see like in Nippon Professional Baseball or KBO? That'd be kind of crazy. If I'm a KBO team or a Japanese baseball league team, I'm going to try to sign one of these guys immediately. Oh man, can you imagine if Shohei Ohtani went back to play in Japan after he started his historic career in Japan? I don't know if media and the hype could handle it. I really don't. Yes, I am a little bit perturbed by the whole thing. Anyway, let's talk about these kids that are going back to college after already playing in the NFL. Things have gotten so weird in college that it's just a regular practice now for college players to sue and temporary restraining orders and able to get them eligible to play for a season. But we have crossed the line of no return. We have crossed it. And why I'm saying that is there are at least 16 lawsuits right now in order to get these players to be able to play college football again. Now, some of these players, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was double, 32 total athletes. But this is not just football, 16 football players. But these players have already signed, some of these players have already signed an NFL contract. Some of these players have put on the NFL uniform, and they have worn the uniform. They didn't make the team, and now they want to go back to college, and they want to play. I don't like this. This is teaching, and I know I'm getting on my high horse right now, but this is teaching nothing. This is teaching basically, hey, if you don't get what you want, you can just go. You could just basically do whatever you want. This is teaching people that they can take the easy way out. And the easy way out is for these kids who aren't going to make NFL teams to go back to college. I think once you put on the NFL uniform, once you are, in an NFL, on an NFL roster in any capacity, same goes with the NBA. No, stop it. It's so ridiculous to me. It's so ridiculous that now the career path for some of these guys is not go into the NFL, which not everyone can play in the NFL. And I do understand to a certain degree, if you're not a guy who can play in the NFL and you know that, then yes, go for it and make all the money that you can in college. But just stop floating back and forth between the professional ranks and the college ranks. Are these kids even going to school? I know I sound like hey, I'm sorry to anyone who's named Karen or what is it, Ken out there, but are they even actually going to school? Like, what is the point anymore? I can't, I like San Diego State football. I've been to their games. The overall college football experience is just not for me right now. And it's really a sad thing to see. What we're really teaching everyone is that, how do I put this without? What we're really, in my mind, in my opinion, teaching everyone is that if things don't, here it is, if things don't go your way, if you're someone who is used to having things go your way, and then something doesn't go your way, we are now teaching everyone that you can go to court and you can sue the NCAA to get back in there. This is ridiculous. Like, just be, at a certain point, don't you have to say to yourself, I can't be playing I can't be playing football forever. Like, go start your life. A lot of people don't play professional sports. And they have to give it up, and they have to move forward. And they have to accept the fact that they're no longer an aspiring professional athlete. But now it's like, okay, it didn't work out for you. Okay, well, let me sue this judge in Texas. And by the way, why is it always Texas judges? I know there's probably a reason for it. But now I'm going down a crazy hole. But what is with these judges? Why are they granting these restraining orders? And I don't even know why they're called restraining orders. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Like, I would love to go back. I don't even know that there is a comparison for me. But this is getting to the point where I am just kind of, am I going to get to the point where I'm old enough to say I'm worried about our future? I'm worried about our future generations? Because now, like, if my niece or my nephew ever came to me and was like, hey, I didn't make the soccer team, I wouldn't be like, well, let's go back and let's get a court order so that you could play on the soccer team. No, I'd be like, hey, if you want to play on the soccer team, let's work. Let's get better. Let's do this. Let's do that. Not, all right, well, let's go find ourselves an attorney so that we could sue the soccer league. And then the soccer league, because this is going to be hanging over their head and it's going to be a process, you could play. And then after the year, they're going to be like, well, you probably shouldn't have played. It's ridiculous. David says, I'm worried about our future generations, and I'm slightly younger than you, I think. I don't know how old you are, David, but I'm 41. And I feel like my generation, man, I do sound old right now. I sound like I'm ancient right now, but I feel like my generation gets it. Some of us get it. But I would like to see for this to go in a different direction. I would like to see these teams be like, no, sorry, we're not going to take you. But they won't. This is, we have been taught, I have been taught, now I'm going on some rant. I've been taught my entire life, if you work hard and you do good things and you're a good person and you contribute to society and you treat people right, good things will happen to you. But it seems like in the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, maybe 10 years, it seems like that is secondary now. If you're cool with complaining and you're okay with taking people to court, it seems like the way we're going. But man, it's really unfortunate. I know my generation. Of course, I'm going to be biased against my or for my generation, but I just feel like some of the kids out there are not ready for what real life has to throw at you. You think okay, I'm going to go to break after this and then tell my radio story on the other side. But if I was to get to a point in radio where I needed to quote unquote retire or I needed to find something else, find another way, that's what I would do. I would look for that other way. I wouldn't like it, but I'm not going to go suing people. It's just ridiculous. All right. Done ranting. Done ranting. When we get back, it's National Radio Day. I'm going to tell you my radio story. We have a daily gripe. We might have some other stuff too. I'm not sure. I did talk a long time in that segment, so let's go to break.
Ben and
I don't know what it is, but like all of the high school music that I listened to back in the day is coming up here in the list. Last final segment of the Skraby Show. I'm Matt Skraby. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matt Skraby, MattsKraby, as in boy, Y. Also at the Skraby Show on YouTube. I need some more subscribers, please. That would be great. Joseph's asking, when is your fantasy draft? You know, here's the thing. Before we get into National Radio Day, here's the thing with the fantasy football here at work. I am the only one of the 12 who does not have an iPhone. So this is the same exact situation as my other league that I've been in for like almost 20 years now with my friends from college. I'm the only guy without an iPhone, so I don't get any texts. And so all the group texting goes on without me. And we've tried to do the whole thing where we merged everything in the RCS chats, and I thought that they fixed it, but apparently some guy in our group does not have a new enough phone to do that. So I'm still on the outside. So I honestly don't know, Joseph. I think it's coming up next week. I think it's actually one of the days that Chris and I are in Las Vegas. And by the way, we are going to be broadcasting live from Circa Resort in Las Vegas on the 27th and the 28th. So next week, next Thursday and Friday. But I think it's one of those days. But I'm on a, I don't know. I guess I'm on a blacklist because no one ever wants to text with an Android person. It's crazy. David says there's plenty of texting apps out there that allow communication. I know. They don't like it. They say that they love their iMessage chat and that's it. They just want the iMessage. That is it. All right. National Radio Day. So I wanted to tell everybody why August 20th is considered National Radio Day. And the reason is because Detroit had the radio station now is WWJ, but they broadcasted on August 20th, 1920, the show Detroit News Radio Phone. So that is why they are using the 20th as National Radio Day. But here is the origin story of Matt Skraby. I went to college. I went to high school, college. I got my degree in business administration. I actually got a job working downtown here in San Diego where I was traveling a lot and I was doing marketing and I was doing a lot of like on-site business stuff. And I worked in that job for about 5 or 6 years. And by the end, I couldn't stand it. I didn't like who I worked with. I felt like I was being taken advantage of by the people who ran the company. I didn't like how I was feeling taken advantage of by a lot of people at this company. So I one day, had always wanted to do radio stuff. As a kid, I listened to radio all the time. Like I had a radio that I listened to when I was going to sleep. So that is what tells you what kind of kid I was. But I was always listening to news talk. I was always listening to sports talk, broadcasts, all of that stuff. And so I'd always wanted to get into it. And I just never really knew how. And I didn't know if I was ever going to get the opportunity to do it. But I was listening to my favorite radio show here in San Diego. It's a morning show. And they were advertising for interns, and it was an unpaid internship. And so I was listening. I was like, this is crazy. I cannot believe that I am going to get the chance to do this. So I applied, came in for an interview, got the job. And so I was working at this radio station for their morning show. And here is the biggest difference between me and the other people who worked at the same time. I actually worked this job. And here's where I think it was good for me because I was a little bit older. I was about 28 or 20, or I was 27 or 28. And a lot of these kids that were interns were 18, 19, 20. And so it wasn't as big of a deal. It wasn't that big of a deal for them. But for me, it was like, hey, I'm almost thinking about a career change. If I could get going in this, I would love to. So I took it really seriously. I took it like they paid me a bunch of money to do this job, even though they didn't pay me a bunch of money, which is what an internship is. You work for free. And I got to learn a lot from them. And I credit, a lot of what I am doing today with them because they were the ones who put me on the air for the first time. And they were the ones who taught me things about radio. And so I one day decided, because I was so tired of my other job and I was doing traveling and I was doing this internship. So I was coming home from like New York on a Thursday night, getting home at midnight, and then getting up at 5 a.m. and going to this free internship and doing everything. Well, it worked out for me because in the end, they ended the internship program and they needed to hire one person. And because I had worked so hard, they hired me. So I was now an official radio station employee that was making a paycheck. I was doing their phone screening for them. And after that, so things were going well. And I quit my other job. I have to say this. I will thank my grandpa and my grandparents and my parents for helping me to get to this point, because I went to my grandpa and I was telling him about how I just didn't like where life was and where life was going. I was also drinking at the time, so that was not a great thing for me. But he encouraged me to take this route, and he helped me. He helped me in many different ways. He helped me by being there for me. He helped me financially in the beginning. I'm not going to, lie about that. And without my grandpa and my grandma encouraging me to do this, I wouldn't be here. So I credit them. But back to the story. So I was working at this morning show, and then there was an opening on a news talk station in the building. So my first producer job was for a news talk show, a midday show in the building. So I learned all of that. And then I worked there for about 2 years at that station. And then they came over to me. They were starting a new morning show on the sports station. They're starting it, and I was the one that they wanted to hire as the morning show producer, which was insane because I just never thought it was going to happen. So that's how I got into sports. Is I worked as a news talk producer for 2 years, and I got into sports, work with them for about 2 years, and then I came over here, and I've been working with 97.3 The Fan ever since. So 2018, I believe. Is it 2018 or 2017? One of those 2 years is when I came over here. But I say all that to say this. Here's where I'm going to be inspirational. If you have a dream, don't think you can't reach it, because you can. I am proof of that. You're listening to a guy who started radio as an unpaid intern at the age of like 28 and quit his job making no money. And I just followed my dreams, and I'm living through some of that right now. So if you want to do something in your life, tell yourself you could do it, try to do it, try to get into it, and don't take no for an answer, but don't go suing people because you're getting a no. No's are good things. I got a few no's in my radio career. I actually really wanted to be the pregame host for the Aztecs football team back when Rashad Penny was there. I applied for the job. I told my boss how much I wanted that job. And then they told me I wasn't getting that job because I just wasn't good enough. And you know what? That was probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Because instead of me going home and being angry, I said, hey, let's work this out. Let's work harder, and let's get to the point where you want to be. So I didn't appreciate my boss at the time when he did that, but I do appreciate him now because I needed that. I needed some sort of kick in the butt. So again, if you're someone who wants to do something, I'm not saying quit your job today. I'm saying go look into it. See if you actually like it. Maybe you think you would like it, but you don't like it. Just do things that make you happy. Because I worked in a job for a long time that did not make me happy. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time in my life just being like angry all the time. Joseph says, Odyssey tells me no every time I try to be an intern for Skraby. Keep trying, Joseph. Keep trying. Dominic says, my dream is to have a date with Charlize Theron. Is it Theron? Thanks for the advice, Skraby. Never give up. Okay, fine. Maybe attainable dreams, because I had a huge crush on Britney Spears when I was in high school, and I would have done anything to go on a date with Britney Spears. All right. Appreciate everybody. There's no Daily Gripe tonight because I ran out of time and I was telling this story. Appreciate everybody for being here. Tomorrow, we have Robbie Ray on Gwen and Chris at 2:20 p.m. We'll get you set for the game with the Twins and the Padres. Have a great night, everybody. Talk to you soon.